And the Bible is just loaded. I mean, it is jam-packed. It is just bulging with moments where he does some of what seems like the craziest things to crystallize what it is that he wants someone to hear. And the conclusion that you have to make, and one of the things that I am absolutely fascinated with the Bible about, and I am more fascinated today than I have been ever in my lifetime, and I think that's cool that God just continues to grow that, is I'm fascinated with just the range of ways that God works. There is nothing that is off range for him. Every off-road trip you could take, God takes. Every offbeat way of communicating, he does it. Every time that you think that you've got God figured out and this is what God will do, God does exactly the opposite of that and stands there and looks at you and says, are you coming or not? If you haven't been watching, I know I've mentioned it before, I'm going to mention it again. If you haven't been watching it, The Chosen is a great series to watch and stream. There's 2 seasons out now. If you haven't gotten sucked into that yet, get sucked into it. It's great. If you think, well, that sounds too spiritual, who wants to watch a streaming video series about the life of Christ? I know the life of Christ. You ain't seen it this way before. And these guys use a little bit of sanctified imagination, but as I've watched it, like anyone else, I look at it and I look at it with that critical eye to say, gosh, how are they tracking here? And it's been fun to watch because somewhere about that halfway through that first season, it dawned on me, what they're doing is they're just enhancing the story, but they're not doing anything that violates Scripture. They're not doing anything that changes the story. What they're doing is they're putting a little bit of imagination to the story, and they're not saying this is what happened, but what could have happened. And they do so without changing the words of Jesus, but making Jesus' reactions and probably capturing better than anything I've ever seen why Jesus was so attractive to people. Why did people like to be around Jesus? And I find myself watching the show thinking to myself, my gosh, this is supposed to be just a TV show to watch. Why did I get so emotional during this show? Why did I find myself tearing up? What in my own sane head are the dumbest places. But I teared up at one thing when Jesus is at the wedding and he does that first miracle because it was now time. And they were describing him, and somebody described him this way, and what they couldn't believe about the Messiah was he danced. They showed Jesus dancing. That means he's not Baptist.
Well, did he dance well?
No, he didn't dance well, but he's Baptist. You can't be Baptist if you're dancing. So that definitively answered the question, Jesus was not a Southern Baptist. I'm sure that the Southern Baptist Convention will be boycotting the series by the end of the year because, well, Jesus danced, and that's not allowed. If he played cards, that would be even better, I think, but I don't think they're going to work that in. But that would be kind of fun to watch as well. But to watch those moments unfold and to watch the dialogue that he has with those disciples. Because, see, I've told you so many times when we teach the Bible, you read the Bible, and if these guys had to drive Jesus nuts. Because, he picked 12 of the densest people he could ever pick to be his followers. But you know why he did that? Because you're the same way and I am too. He picked regular folks to remind us that we can get this right as well. And I'm always struck by that unique interplay between these people who are the chosen. Because as much as the story is about Jesus, the title of the series is The Chosen. And it dawned on me, about 6 episodes in, this really isn't about Jesus at all. This is about the people he called to follow him. And what makes them unique and why it works and what they did and why they did what they did. And this could be our story as well. It's an amazing way that God talks with us. And so if you ever want a fresh look at God, watch a video series. Who knew God could show up in streaming media? What you've just been watching is an introduction to what is going to be, I think, an exciting series and one that may run for quite a while. We're calling it the Ekklesia. Ekklesia means called out. I think in this context we could call it the chosen. We're going to be breaking down and looking at this streaming series that seems to have captivated so many followers and non-followers. We're going to look at each episode and take each episode and put it under the microscope, if you will, and talk about what stands out to us and what it might mean and how it impacted our lives. If you haven't watched the series yet, I highly recommend it. Go watch The Chosen. As we're recording this, there will be episodes that will be released, and as episodes come, you'll be able to track where we are and know what we're talking about. I can guarantee you we'll always be behind. But we will be behind in the best possible way because we're going to give you a chance then to kind of circle back or review and think about the moments that were meaningful to you. And we're going to share as a church staff why they're meaningful to us. And I think the end result is you're going to be challenged. You're going to get a maybe even deeper appreciation for the series, The Chosen. And I think when it's all said and done, we'll have a good time together. Because there'll be some things that stood out to you that we missed, but we're going to pick up some things that you never thought of. And so when it's said and done, it will let you have a great appreciation for not just the life of Christ, as you just heard me talk about, but how the story really is about the chosen, the ones He chose, us, to be the banner carriers, to change the world. We are the chosen. And so we're excited about this series. It's called Ekklesia, and I look forward to sitting down with the staff here at the Church of 434 and talking about the episodes in the days ahead. Look forward to seeing you. Plan on joining us.